Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back. And some of y'all probably don't forgot who I am at this point. Damn shame. Damn shame. Some of y'all probably don't forgot who I was, okay? I haven't posted on YouTube in a week or something like that. I missed y'all for Sunday brunch because your girl was out at her bachelorette trip. So if y'all want to see what was going on at the bachelorette, go ahead and head down to my Instagram at Necey Dixon and go and see what I was up to. But today I wanted to come and talk to y'all about Married at First Sight. I know I'm late, but I watched the episode last night and I figured that we would have a good conversation because I missed y'all. I missed y'all. I did. Okay. Hey, Alicia. Ooh, so good to see your name pop up on the screen. Hey, Amber. Hey, TT. Hey, Shayla. I hope y'all have been doing good. One show I haven't caught up on yet is Ready to Love and Ladies Who List Atlanta. So y'all give me the rundown. Let me know if that was worth talking about. But if I don't get an individual video out for that this week, don't worry because Ooh Ladies First panel is going to be on my channel this Thursday. So y'all come on back on Thursday so we can talk. Hey, so welcome. Yeah, I was gone. But let's go ahead. I ain't gonna hold y'all because I'm late with this already, and y'all gonna be getting another review for this show in 2 days. I say we just go ahead and get on into it. So, what I really wanted to talk about today is Married at First Sight. And when I was watching the episode last night, I just felt like I had to say, I call bullshit. I call it. The reason being is because I kept saying, okay, something to me about a man who don't want to work but wants a family is just how that work. I don't understand how that works. I can't trust a man who does not want to work, which is why I call him unemployed. And some of y'all don't get carried away, okay? Because I know some people to do is work. No. I'm saying the math isn't mathing. You want kids, but you don't want to work. You don't pay. Well, I don't know if you pay mortgage because we saw his home last time, but you would prefer to live out of a car. It don't make sense to me. So a lot of people, the argument or conversation that we were having before was, to me, I was talking about the man because y'all know we call him unemployed over here. Other people were just like, well, he probably has an unconventional way of living. He's probably living on savings. He's probably doing this. He's probably doing that. He's probably still able to pay his bills. And to me, while all of that is fair, okay, while all that is fair, if he decides that he wants to take off 1 year plus of working because he got the coin, then fine. But the argument that him and Noy keep having, in my opinion, is that he only has a temporary amount of coin. He ain't got money like that to just be sitting and waiting. And for you to say that you want to take on a wife and then take on a family, to me, is backwards. Hey, y'all, I'm glad to see the rest of y'all hopping in here. Alicia, she said Lindsay wasn't helping Mark out of the kindness of her heart. She was controlling and makes herself feel superior. Ooh, girl, we're going to get into that. Okay? We are. Because I'm already about to go on a rant talking about Steve and Noy. That's why they got the thumbnail this week. Steve and Noy, I don't know. Honestly, y'all tell me in the comments, okay? Who is it that is annoying y'all more? Is it unemployed or is it Noy? Because just 2 weeks ago, regardless of Steve saying he wanted a job or not, Noy was trying to make sure she had her 3 kids. I really don't know. Hey, J-Dub, good to see you. Shanice, she says, Steve says he can support himself when I need money as if he ain't married, which is we. Pete, 100%. And he kept saying, if she doesn't accept me for who I am. I've never heard of anybody accept unemployed as a form of identity, okay? Unemployed is just a temporary status majority of the time. But Steve is trying to make that his identity. And to me, that's a red flag because something tells me that this man is lazy AF, trifling. if you want to put it in simple terms. He's trifling. For him to even think that you could raise a kid on that and then be trifling enough to not care if the kid don't have a roof over their head. Goodbye. Jay Antoinette, you coined this. Annoying. You definitely coined it. Hey Sam, good to see you. But yeah, I think we can get into it. Marcy says Lindsay annoys her. TT says Noy annoys her. Annoying. C Golden says they're annoyed that Steve won't be clear about his plan. Let me tell you this. The reason why Steve is not clear about his plan is because there is no plan. There is no plan. When I tell you that this man is trifling as hell, there is no plan. He's going with the MF and flow. Next, Darcy says, Noy. Oh, Soul says, I personally wouldn't be with a man that's unemployed, so I get Noy's frustration, but at the same time, she's being immature with how she's dealing with it. Facts. I love when y'all see both sides of the coin. Okay, so the first couple that I think I want us to talk about, and y'all know what I always forget to do whenever I come on here. I forget to do this. Like the video real quick. Like it up. I promise we're gonna do it. Okay. I got one more thing to do, but while I'm working on cranking this up, y'all answer one more question for me. Now that we've already gotten into the conversation of, is Steve more annoying or is Noy more annoying? There's a bigger question that we're going to get into, because this was a second runner-up couple for who was going to get the damn clown mask, okay? Is it Steve and Noy that wins the clown mask, or is it Lindsay and Mark? Is it Lindsay and Mark? Because both of them together are annoying as hell. But I also want to know if y'all saw what I saw when it came to the Lindsay situation. We're going to see, okay? Y'all answer the question, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, first couple that I want to talk about is Katina and Olajuwon. I think they should be pretty simple to talk about. So, we first see Olajuwon talking to his friend named Jeff. He looks up to Jeff because Jeff has a wife, Jeff has a son, and he seems to be the voice of reason when it comes to his friend Isaac, because he knows that Isaac is a whole fool. He's talking about, can you believe we haven't had sex yet? He's saying that he's a little bit nervous to take her to bed because he feels like, this was weird, he feels like he'll start to look at her differently, or he won't be able to just get to know her as a woman. And, it's only so far you can go with that before you start to sound foolish. So on one hand, I'm like, okay, Olajuwon, if you know yourself, then cool. Get to know her besides having sex with her. Now, the next thing, hold on, I keep hearing a beep. Okay. Now, the next thing to me that ends up being alarming is that he's so sure that he might not be able to get to know her as a woman. I'm like, on one hand, okay, respectful, you know yourself. On the other hand, why is it that there's a switch inside of you that as soon as you let off on this woman, you won't look at her the same? Weird. So then he starts trying to tell his friend that it's a red flag that she doesn't know how to grocery shop. His friend is calming all his worries and basically saying, just chill out, right? And I was on Twitter last night looking at what y'all were talking about, and it seemed like a lot of the girls was choosing Jeff. Jeff wasn't all that for me, but I'm glad that he was a voice of reason for his friend. And J-Dub, while you say that Isaac is hiding something, why are you reading my mind? Why are we here? We're thinking the same thing. So I'm not understanding what it is that's making him so hesitant to have sex with her. And it's funny because, y'all, I don't want to do the whole, if roles were reversed thing, because I'm already thinking about what y'all gonna say. I'm not saying that we're going to talk bad about him because he doesn't want to have sex with her. But what I'm saying is, if all you talk about, Isaac or Olajuwon, is your history with women. Have women come easy? You said that multiple times. What is it that you're afraid of Katina finding out? Could it be the peen? The peen ain't hitting like, what is it? I don't know. Me and the ladies were talking at the beginning of this series, not knowing exactly what was happening or what would happen. And I think it was Bonnie who said she feels like his penis might be whack. Peen. I don't know if I can say is peen. His peen might be whack, okay? And the more he starts to act like that, the more I'm like, that's for Katina to find out, okay? That's something we'll never know, because I don't think that Katina would even come on TV and say that. And by the looks of the after show, they're very much still together. So next, y'all, we see Katina and her friend Ariana. Y'all, this was an interesting conversation. Katina and her friend Ariana, and Ariana is coming there with all of her thoughts. Number one, she thought Olajuwon was doing too much when it came to the garter dance. Remember when this man was at his wedding dancing like a stripper? He was doing the absolute most. So yes, I'm there with you. Number two, the other thing that they didn't add into the conversation earlier was that we find out that Olajuwon has never dated a Black woman before. Now, I want to know y'all's thoughts on if this is a red flag or not. I really want to know, because what I always feel like, especially with me, like being from the suburbs, you know, having Black men feel like the token, they might F around and date a bunch of white girls. But what I feel like is ultimately, once they get older and grow into maturity, not all of them, some of them, they decide that they want to be with a Black woman. So to me, I wasn't necessarily surprised, even though that Olajuwon has a white mother and he wasn't around his dad growing up. So I wasn't surprised. But the one thing that took me back was Katina's reaction to her friend. What Katina was saying didn't make sense at all. What Katina said to me made it even worse. So Katina says, well, you know he's Irish. Her friend said, girl, that's a Black man. He looks like a Black man. And Katina says, well, we know he's Black. Girl, Katina. Let me not stop there. This is the part that took me over when I was like, I don't know. Katina said, well, you know, it's not like he's never been with a Black woman before. He's just never been in a serious relationship with a Black woman before. That, to me, that's where the red flag came out. Okay. So all before long, I was like, you got a white mama. You really ain't been around Black people like that. Yes, you look Black, but you feel yourself a lot. So I could definitely see yourself, you know, wanting to be a Black man token. I could definitely see that. But it wasn't until Katina said he's been with Black women before, but not in a serious way. Why is that, Katina? Why is it that you and him have had a conversation and he's let you know that Black women, and I don't know their conversation, but she said they talked about it. So if you came to the understanding that he was able to mess around with Black women, hook up, talk to them, text, but only be in serious relationships with white women, that's a red flag. So for Katina to say that, I was just like, girl. And this is low-key why y'all are a match, because she doesn't know it, but he's molding her. He's molding her. And they also have missing holes where Katina didn't grow up in the household with her, who was it, with her dad. Olajuwon didn't grow up in the household with her dad, with his dad. So they have these Stepford wife, different types of television marriage ideals to look up to, which is why Katina is willing to wake up out of her sleep and cook for this man. Another thing that was a big eye opener to me, and y'all might think I'm tripping, but I don't care. Another thing that was an eye opener to me is, if y'all have been on my channel this whole time, I've been asking y'all, why the hell has Katina been going to sleep with her 30-inch wig on? Why? Because what I do know is wigs are not comfortable to sleep in, for number one. For number two, that's a closure. I know it's a wig. Take that wig off and sit it on the door. Put your bonnet on like Jasmina and go to rest. Go to sleep, girl. But just based off the simple fact that you know that he typically only dates white girls, that's why you ain't taking that wig off, sis. It's okay. He know the 30 inches ain't yours, but you don't want to mess up the illusion for him just yet. Okay? Y'all tell me if it was just me, but I feel like I was onto something when I said that. So, anyway, she said it's not a concern for her. I think her friend was just trying to call out a good point. So, next, y'all, they finally get to do the housewarming with their friends. And guess who's not there? Ariana, the friend that was trying to call out all the red flags. So I just thought it was interesting. Maybe Ariana was busy, who knows? But it was very much giving like, this is why sometimes you can't really tell your friends about themselves, because as soon as you do, they back up. They don't want to tell you nothing because they don't want to hear about themselves. They don't want to hear about their man, even though they come to you in the first place and be like, what do you think? So Ariana's not there. Ultimately, it's her one friend with the curly hair and then another girl who we have never seen before. So the friend with the curly hair had already met him right after the wedding. She wasn't feeling him because this is where he was saying a bunch of stuff. Oh, I just want to try something new. You just want to try something new. Black women is something new for you. Like, it's not like it's a different flavor candy or something. Like, that's what her friend, the guy, that's who also wasn't there. That's who also wasn't there, y'all. Ariana, the girl who tried to tell Katina about Olajuwon not dating black women was a red flag. She wasn't invited to the house, from what I know. The black man who was Katina's friend, who said he wasn't feeling Olajuwon from jump, wasn't invited to the house. So I'm just like, interesting. So anyway, we only see one friend who met him the day of the wedding, and another girl who was new. The friend who met him before said she wasn't feeling him like that, but ultimately they ended up coming around because it seemed like he had a more down to earth way of conversation, right? Ultimately, y'all, let me be real. They was liquored up, okay? Olajuwon is a really nice guy, outgoing, sometimes kind of dumb, but he definitely has some enjoyable aspects to his personality, especially from what I've seen on TV. I definitely thought that Olajuwon was going to come on TV and be the ultimate fuckboy of the season. He hasn't done that though. He hasn't proved himself to be a fuckboy. He definitely has shown that he has ADHD and he is unmedicated. He told us that. So I didn't make that up. But he does things that he thinks is completely normal and completely okay. And because he has that level of innocence, I think it seems to be a little bit more acceptable. Now, go ahead and add, different influences to the mix, like liquor, smoke, whatever y'all do, and y'all having a good time. So, but before they left the house, her friends all of a sudden had nothing bad to say about him. And that's exactly how Katina wanted it. So next we see Katina talking to Olajuwon's good friend, Jeff. And I wish that Jeff would have brought his wife to the house so he could definitely give them marital advice since he's married and has a kid. But whatever. He was at the house. He said that he feels like they're a really good match. And y'all, they are a good match because Katina is moldable. So everybody likes each other. Everything is all good. CS Bean says he takes his medication. For whatever reason, I felt like he didn't give her a specific yes answer to taking the medication. I feel like he told her something like he tries to, but it didn't seem like he was doing that regularly. Okay. What just happened? Who? I'm looking at these comments from Monique and J Dub. Who said Steve is a millionaire? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Okay. So Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next couple. This one should be pretty easy to discuss, and that is Jasmina and Michael. What? Hashtag reset. Okay, one thing them tables gonna do is they're gonna turn. He definitely came around in a different mood. She, more than anything, came around in a different mood. So if y'all don't remember from the last episode, they were at odds because Michael was withholding information, lying about living with a woman. It is beyond me that people on the internet wanted to debate back and forth about whether Michael lied or not. I feel like he lied. Even though he withheld information, it turned into a lie when we were sitting in your home and you didn't want to tell her that it was a woman in the home and the woman walked out of the home. I feel like it would have been withholding information if he didn't tell her and then at a later date told her without getting caught. You lied. That's my answer. Okay. So that was the issue with them. Also, remember this, okay? I don't know if y'all was paying attention to what Jasmina was saying when she talked to her friend, but I did. So when they were on the honeymoon, Jasmina swears up and down that Michael was getting loud with her. He was being disrespectful. He was getting loud. So I told y'all my opinion on it was for the sake of ending the argument, I felt like Michael just went ahead and admitted to it, thinking like if I roll over and stop debating with her, maybe I'll make her happy. So I think that's why he admitted to getting loud. Then Pastor Cal came over and all of a sudden he was like, no, I didn't get loud with you. I had the wrong tone, but I didn't yell at you. Anyway, what we see between Michael and Jasmina. Jasmina goes to visit her friend while Michael visits his sister. Love Michael and his sister's relationship. She seems so wise. She gives him so much helpful information. One thing that I felt like Jasmina was doing, I always felt like Jasmina was trying to protect herself. I didn't feel like she never liked him. It just always made me think about how Jasmina said that she's only ever been in long distance relationships, coupled with the fact that her mom and dad had walked away from her life. She has grown up in toxic ass relationships, okay? Coupled with the way that we've seen her operate when people in the group are in conflict, right? But for whatever reason, she sees Michael as her enemy, which is wild to me. So I always felt like she was trying to protect herself, which is basically the advice that Michael's sister gives him. Next, okay, this is the point I wanted to make to y'all. Next, Jasmina has a conversation with one of her friends who's been in a relationship for 8 years. Now, whenever she explains to her friend the reason for them falling out, yes, she mentions the woman walking out of the house. She mentions him lying, but she don't mention her lying about going home to that dog. Okay, number one, she mentions him lying about the woman. For two, whenever she explains the honeymoon situation, she says, he used a tone with me. Please let me know I was not the only person who caught that. So what I wanted to know is how is it that you go from the honeymoon resort to saying he yelled at you? Michael says he didn't yell. For the sake of ending the argument, Michael then admits to yelling, says he'll work on it just to make you happy. Pastor Cal comes back around. You tell Pastor Cal that he yelled. Y'all debate back and forth about whether or not that was true. But now that you seem to get along with him a little bit more, when you're repeating the story to your friend, today it's he used a tone. Did he use a tone, Jasmina, or did he yell? Because this is making me feel even more confident in what I was telling y'all. I feel strongly that Michael was probably upset. He probably used a tone. She took that as a threat because she's always combative. She's lived in chaos. She's seen toxic ass relationships and she's trying to protect herself. So she tried to make it seem like it was worse than what it was. Because why is it today, Jasmina, that he used a tone? Girl, if I get mad, I'm going to use a tone too. Like, that doesn't mean that I have to yell to get my point across. So That to me was very vindictive of what Jasmine was trying to do to Michael. You tried to make it seem like this man was getting loud with you, like he was being disrespectful. Girl. Okay. So basically, her friend gave her some solid ass advice. Her friend told her, you know what, maybe he was afraid to tell you about the woman. Now, what her friend was doing was giving him benefit of the doubt, because it is just crazy to me that Jasmina seemed more upset about him using a tone than she did about the woman in the house. So her friend says, okay, we're going to let this slide. But as far as communicating, you need to talk to him every day. And then Jasmina says, but he's the type of guy who thinks like he knows everything. And she said, well, that sounds like you. One thing that was consistent with all of Jasmina's friends that we met from the one-on-one to the game night, all of them have been in conflict with her before. Extremely telling. Her friend that was at the game night, she told Michael that if you ever get into conflict with Jasmina, don't let it sit. Address it, because they'll go back and forth and just be petty with each other the entire time. That tells me Jasmina lives in conflict. Why is it that everybody that we met on this show you've had conflict with? So I'm just like, that's extremely telling. Now let's talk about Jasmina meeting up with Michael's sister in the bedroom during the housewarming. Jasmina, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. And that's what Michael's sister was trying to tell you in the most respectful way. As soon as Michael's sister sat down in the bedroom with Jasmina, Jasmina says, I really like your brother. And she said, well, I wish he knew that. Like, what are you talking about? Where? She's basically like, I've been getting the download the whole time and I have not gotten any vibes that you like him. So y'all need to communicate that. She says that she thinks the experts did a good job. She tries to encourage Jasmina and Michael to keep what they have going. Now, one thing we're not going to do, we're not going to hold our breaths, because one thing that I feel is confident about Jasmina is that she lives in conflict, and that Jasmina eventually will get upset with Michael again. And she's going to act like she doesn't like him because she's afraid of getting hurt. The other thing that I'm not going to hold my breath on is Michael lying. If y'all seen Married at First Sight before, y'all remember the last Michael we had that was a liar? Baby, this man said he was a yoga instructor and he was a janitor down to the damn yoga studio. Okay. This man said he had a principal job and he didn't. This man said that he had a car that didn't have no miles on it and they checked. And I'm just like, okay, we'll see. So Jasmina and Michael, yes. Hey, Naturally Mar, they both lied, definitely. Jasmina is hot and cold. She wants to protect herself, but y'all know what? Something's gonna happen. Nah, Marcy, I'm right there with you. Marcy said, "Don't jump on the Michael bandwagon just yet, Stain too." Girl, I'm not jumping on it, because if he gonna lie about that, what else is he gonna lie about? So these two are one and the same. We'll see what happens, okay? He did not even, okay? I was like, quit playing. So y'all, I think we should go ahead and move on to the next couple. Let's talk about Stephen Noy. Let's go ahead and get Unemployed out the way. Okay, they were the ones who got the thumbnail, and yes, they were the clowns of the night for me, because y'all arguing over damn pasta. Come on now. Now, anyway, Stephen Noy, they have a conversation at the beginning of the episode. Pretty much the entire theme for these two this week is, Steve, you ain't got no job. Why you ain't got no job? He's saying you need to support me and who I am, and Noy's upset about it. Noy's being passive and getting upset. Unemployed, that's a status in time. That should be a temporary status in time. You guys, what I have to discuss with y'all is, even people who have money that makes them money, you're not unemployed. You just have an unorthodox way of getting money, which is a 9 to 5. Now, Steve says that that's his dream to do that, but why would you take on a wife right now? That's my thing. Because if I was Noy, what am I here for? What am I here for? Do not put me on no man that cannot at least contribute half. At least. Okay, that's all we're asking for in 2022. At minimum. This man doesn't even want to do that, but says he wants to have children. He don't want to have kids, Noy. He don't want to have kids. Let me tell you this. Noy, I feel like Steve enjoys a life of leisure. He doesn't care where that is. Okay. He enjoys a life of leisure so much so that if he had to decide between that and having children, Monique, go ahead. Monique, send me that article because Monique is saying this man got money. If that's the case, then I want to know. Ooh, I'm throwing my microphone out of the way. But if that's the case, if he has money, why doesn't he just tell her that and calm her nerves? I'm not understanding. I don't know. So, Marcy, she says Steve uses double speak when he talks about his career. Always. Why did he get married? For a home. That's what I thought was interesting because he had a home that we actually saw. So he's not homeless. But what I want to know is why haven't you just talked about how you get your money? Kyra is saying that Steve has money too. Huh. Okay. We're going to see. Makeup addict, I'm right here with you. Beyonce got money. You don't see her not working though. Okay. You have to be, I don't care what you do, as long as your income is consistent. The reason why I was second guessing on if Steve's income was consistent was because when he was telling Noy his backup plans, this man said, I have savings. I don't want you living off of savings by choice. Savings is for if the water heater go out in the house. Savings is if we got to get a new roof because a storm then came and ripped it off the top of the house. I don't want you living off savings for a life of leisure. So that's the only reason why I was like, does he have money or does he not? Because if you was really making money like that, you would have never suggested that you could live off of your savings by choice. Savings is for if you lose a job and you need another one to hold you over. Not understanding. So anyway, Noy is peeping that he's doing double speak, as my girl Marcy said, okay? And while she says what he says sounds good, there's no actions behind the words. So next, y'all, they end up having a housewarming party. The friends come over and the same conversation comes back into play. They start talking about kids. How are you going to house them? How are you going to feed them? Noy's friend, the one who I told y'all I was kind of like, she started asking Steve some serious questions. She said, I know that Noy has no interest in being primary breadwinner. So what are your plans? He then looks uncomfortable, swallows, his face turns a little red. And he's like, I don't know why people have to work a 9 to 5. I mean, can we find another way? Is it, can we find another way, or have you found another way, Steve? This is why I don't trust it, unemployed. This is why. Because if you had already found a way that was working for you, you would have explained that to Noy. I feel like he's still working through the kinks. And Noy is nervous because she knows that she could potentially be in a situation to where she has to take care of this man. And Steve wants her to be okay with that. That's why he keeps saying she needs to accept me for who I am, which is lazy. Okay. And anyway, after this, y'all, we get into the whole noodle game. So Noy and Steve are in the kitchen at the house. Noy decides to cook a meal. Noi eats gluten-free noodles, where Steve eats regular noodles. Steve begins making his own noodles because he can't eat the one, or he doesn't want to eat the ones that Noi eats. Noi, this is what she did. And this was petty. Steve walks away from the stove. Noi allows his noodles to sit until they get soggy. He feels like she did it on purpose, and he was like, man, you didn't take my noodles off the stove. So she gets up, packs her bags, takes her dog. Me and my baby, we gonna be all right. We gonna live a good life. She packs her bags and she leaves with her dog all over noodles. No, it's because you anxious AF, because you shaking in your boots, not knowing if you are going to have to be the primary breadwinner for you and this man. Because you know that if you decide to stay with him past the 8 weeks, you could potentially be putting your want for a family, your want for a household behind you. So you didn't leave over no noodles. You were anxious, okay? And I would be anxious too, because in this situation, I feel like you're having to choose yourself, and he's stubborn enough to say, I'm choosing myself. He is choosing to be lazy, and he's choosing only to work enough to take care of himself. And when I say take care of himself, I mean make it, period. And he's telling you that's all he's going to be willing to do because he doesn't want to work 9 to 5. So, balls in your court, Noi. You're going to have to decide, do you want to stay with this man, let him be lazy as hell, have children, and y'all potentially find a way to take care of them, hope that he's going to change when he's already told you that he's not going to change, or leave? Which is why Noi hopped on Instagram and she wrote this ominous ass post. And it says something about, life is about making choices. You have to decide what you want to do for you, and you should always choose what's best for yourself. So when she comes home, she finally comes back. Steve ends up addressing her about the post and was like, I feel like that post was about me. And Noi says, yes, it was. So there's no telling exactly what's going to happen. But in my opinion, Noi, the proof is in the pudding. The cake's been baked. Noi, Steve has already told you what his expectations are for life. Either you get with it or you get gone. Okay. So you decide if you want to have a couple kids or just find somebody else to have kids with. I'm not understanding. And that's the anxiety that she's living in right now. So let's go on from them. I guess we'll talk about Alyssa and Chris. Get this girl off my screen. Y'all, for those of you who's familiar with my channel, if you're new here, go ahead, hit subscribe and like, because we friends over here. Y'all know I'm in Texas. When this girl, Alyssa, said, I think I'm going to go to Texas and meet my cowboy, I threw my hands up on that couch. I said, we don't want you here. On behalf of all of Texas, Alyssa, you're going to have to go somewhere else to find your cowboy. Going on to Oklahoma, Tennessee, wherever you need to go, Mississippi, going up to the Midwest, Minnesota. Don't care where you go. Don't come down here. We don't need that type of energy down here. I threw my hands up. So Chris, he's starting the episode out and he's talking to his mom. He's delivering the news, telling his mom that he actually decided to get a divorce. One thing that I felt was crazy was Chris had this immense amount of pressure where he felt like he was disappointing his mom by saying that he wanted to get a divorce. He was like, my mom's wanted me to be married since I was little. Chris, your mama don't care. Let's be real. I don't have any kids, but I can let y'all know right now that if I were to go get married to a stranger for a little under 2 weeks, and I told my parents how much this stranger disrespected me, my parents wouldn't give a damn if I was married or not. They would do what they had taught you to do, Chris, which was leave. So, Chris, shout out to you, because I'm glad you mentioned that. Monique, don't send her to Oklahoma either. No, don't even go to Oklahoma, because I'll be going up there in the summer sometimes. Leave Oklahoma and Texas alone. So anyway, Chris, I have to agree that I feel like you are the fastest person to say, no, I choose myself throughout at least the 5, 6 seasons that I've been watching. And I love it for you. Okay. I love it for you, Chris. That just adds so much value to who you actually are, Chris, and who you know you deserve to be with. So I know that by the time we get to the reunion, Chris is probably going to have a girlfriend. I don't know if she's going to be black. I don't know if she's going to be white. Don't matter. But I do feel like he will be with someone who actually acts like he wants him. Do y'all think Alyssa is coming to the reunion? I do not. I do not. I think Alyssa is going to have to do some solo confessional because she's not going to want to sit on the stage with everyone. Or what she's going to have to do is sit with the women only, but not even be in the presence of Chris at all. So Alyssa, she goes and she talks to her friend. Not everybody calling out their state saying they don't want her. Y'all too funny, okay? So Alyssa goes to talk to her friend. And it's so funny that since you showed yourself to be a complete ass this entire time, you want to introduce us to someone who you rescue dogs with. I can't never trust anybody who is a horrible ass person, but dedicates their life to taking care of animals. And that's no shade to animals. Let me say that, okay? Love dogs, okay? No shade to animals. But for you to be a nasty ass human being, but pride yourself in your ability to be nice to helpless animals, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. Okay. If you can't be nice to other human beings, I'm judging you. So anyway, the production team, they're running back all the clips of Alyssa, of all the proof of the BS that's coming out of Alyssa's mouth. But one of the things that I thought was interesting and was also very telling about who Alyssa was as a person was while her friend acted like she believed everything Alyssa was saying, ultimately she ended the conversation saying, I wish I could have met this guy so that way I can have my own impression of him. Yeah, because you know that your friend Alyssa is a fool. So the fact that her friend said that lets us know that this is not foreign to Alyssa to be acting like this. So yeah, what's next? She wants to move to Texas, girl. Next state. Okay, next state on over. We don't need it. So finally, y'all, let's go ahead and jump on to, let's talk about Mark and Lindsay. Y'all tell me, between Mark and Lindsay, who annoys y'all the most? And I have to be real with y'all. To begin the show, it was Lindsay for me. Now that we're getting into the thick of it, it's Mark for me. Mark is more irritating to me than Lindsay because what I can appreciate is you know what you're about to get with Lindsay. Lindsay gives us her cards face up. Mark is timid. Mark is shaking in his boots. Mark is trying to make sure everybody's happy. He's not telling the person who he needs to communicate to what exactly is going on. Marcy says Lindsay is getting on her nerves. Schly says both. J-Dub says Lindsay. Mark is more annoying. Lindsay, Karen, and Mickey, they both annoying. Yeah, Mark is a people. Yes, it's Mark for me. Because one thing I'm going to need you to do is exactly what her friends told you to do at the beginning. Do not tend to her every beck and call, beck and need. Don't do that. You're going to have a backbone on you. Tell her what it is that you don't like. But on the other side of things, I do know that Lindsay probably was not disciplined as a child. And because of Lindsay's fractured relationship with her mom, people probably feel bad for telling her about herself. Her dad and her brother probably tolerate her throwing adult ass hissy fits. I can imagine her being a badass kid turning into a ruthless ass, unstructureless ass adult. And I think that's what we're seeing. So either way it goes, y'all, I don't think Lindsay's going to change. So that's why I don't think that she's fit for Mark. However, Mark, I'm going to need you to communicate. Okay. And even if it doesn't work, we would have at least known that you tried. And then you can call it quits. But you're too afraid to even do that. So they have the housewarming party. Mark, his entire thing this week is I don't know what to say to Lindsay. How do I communicate with Lindsay what's actually bothering me? Where on the other side of things, Lindsay is talking to her friends and she's saying, he's not used to having someone take care of him. I did this for him. His apartment was bed bug infested. We walked in with hazmat suits. Lindsay was so proud of that moment because that moment wasn't so much about Mark as it was about her. That moment was Lindsay trying to be a ride or die. That moment was Lindsay proving that if I overlove you, then maybe you won't leave me. And I think that's exactly what she was doing. So both of these two don't want to communicate, okay? Lindsay thinks that she's showering him with love that he can't receive because he's used to being the caretaker when that's not the case. I don't think that's the case, Lindsay. I don't think it is him being afraid to take your love. I think you're just too much for him. Y'all don't fit each other. And Mark is just, Lindsay is trying to Miss Parker him. She's trying to Miss Parker him. So next, y'all, let's go ahead and get to the bowling alley. So all of the couples finally meet up at the bowling alley. I thought I had a picture of all the couples, but I don't. So anyway, y'all, all the couples meet up at the bowling alley. And whenever they do, Lindsay is joking, being inappropriate again, like she always does. And Mark hates that. Real interesting. That's the reason why you shouldn't have had sex with this woman, Mark. You shouldn't have laid with this woman so early on if you knew it was a chance that she wasn't going to be your type like that. Because the same aggressiveness that you liked from her when it came to sex, she keep that same energy no matter who's around. So she's being inappropriate. And they start having this nasty ass conversation about why do girls trip about the toilet seat being up? Is it number one about poop spray in the air, or number two, is it about falling in the toilet? Lindsay's the one who makes the conversation vulgar and nasty and childish, and all of the women are just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, hold on, let him talk. Let's have a conversation because you're talking over people. So Chris and Alyssa finally show up, and before they can even tell everyone that they're divorced, Lindsay starts trying to make a point that didn't make any sense. She says, I actually heard something that was real, was really real. You can't have intimacy without conflict. And everybody was kind of confused, like, Now, let's take a second and be real. Lindsay, that didn't apply to you. I have heard of intimacy growing through conflict. And that doesn't mean that if I stay with you and you continue to do me wrong, we're going to grow closer. It means you learn how to better resolve conflict when those things come up. And those are things like disagreements, this, that, and the fourth. It's not what we deal with you, Lindsay. So I understood what she was saying, but everybody was just confused by that. So finally, y'all, people are not surprised by this divorce with Chris and Alyssa. Alyssa wants to make it known to everybody that she did not choose to get a divorce. This is literally exactly what you wanted, Alyssa. You wanted to play a role. And now that Chris has, finally been the one to call out the divorce, he's made it easier for you to be a good person. Anyway, y'all, we finally get into Lindsay versus Mark. So, whenever Lindsay is making the point about, intimacy and conflict and all this stuff, Katina rolls her eyes hard. Katina is rolling her eyes, rolling her neck. And that's whenever Lindsay says, girl, what are you rolling your eyes for? And Katina says, girl, you already know not to talk to me. Don't talk to me on camera because I'm not about to argue with you with the cameras here. So it's been very clear, we saw on the boat, that Lindsay is not Katina's cup of tea, as she's not anyone else's cup of tea on the show, but Katina has been the one to, voice that to her. Now, the only reason why in this situation, y'all tell me in the comments who y'all thought was wrong. The reason why I'm going to say Katina was in the wrong is because Katina rolled her eyes, cut her neck for dear life, and Lindsay simply said, "What are you rolling your eyes for?" Now, I know that the situation would have turned up. Don't get me wrong. I know the situation would have turned up, but Lindsay asking her what she's rolling her eyes for did not justify Mark getting upset with Lindsay. I think Mark should have waited until Lindsay showed her ass, which she probably would have. And then you could have told her, hey, I'm not cool with that. But in my opinion, Katina wanted smoke. And she wanted smoke when she rolled her eyes because the comment that Lindsay was making had nothing to do with Katina. So that's why I was like, Mark, you dead ass wrong. So Mark says to Lindsay, you should have addressed her. You shouldn't have said anything to her because you just know how it's going to go. It's just going to go bad. No, Katina shouldn't have said nothing. Katina shouldn't have rolled her eyes like anything because nothing was addressed towards Katina. And that's the thing you have to understand. I've been around plenty of foolish people, and I used to be the type of person that would get upset or my whole mood would be off if I would be around somebody who was not my cup of tea. But then I was like, you know what? What am I carrying all this bad energy for? All I have to do is decide what I'm about to accept. Let me see. Okay, Jay says Lindsay made a snarky comment to Katina first. Y'all tell me, what did she say? Remind me what the comment was. J Dub says Lindsay made a smart comment first. And y'all remind me what the comment was for real, for real. Is the comment, why are you rolling your eyes? Is that what y'all think is the snarky comment? Because to me, Katina rolling her eyes was enough for me to know that she wanted smoke. And that was the first offense. The first offense to me was Katina rolling her eyes. The first offense to me was not Lindsay saying, what are you rolling your eyes for? I was just like, come on. And then CS Bean says, the conflict comment. Oh, thank you, J Dub. Thank you, J Dub. There you go. She mentioned that says a lot about Katina whenever she spoke about the feedback from Pastor Cal. You know we friends, right? You know we friends, right? Okay. I missed that. Y'all right. Okay. Lindsay was dead ass wrong. I forgot all about that. Okay. All I remember was Katina. And I was like, damn. Yup. I appreciate you. I really do. I was like, damn. Nikki says that Katina was being childish. Lindsay should not have said anything to her because she knows Katina doesn't like her. She don't. Yeah, see, B Stokes, she forgot about it too. That is too funny. Anna says, I think they both were wrong. Katina for rolling her eyes and Lindsay for feeling some type of way. Lindsay rolled her eyes at Alyssa a few weeks ago for some dumb BS that she was spewing. Well, that part too, Monique. This part. This is why I didn't take note of this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then that happened. Because Katina was already on go. She was. But y'all tell me this. A lot of y'all feel strongly that Katina is a pick-me. So, what do y'all think it's more of? Is it more of Katina trying to look like a ride or die for Olajuwon? Or number two, is it more of Katina and Lindsay just not vibing like that? What do y'all think it is? Low key, I feel like it's a little bit of both. Especially whenever they first landed in Puerto Rico, I felt like Katina had an immense amount of joy to make it seem like, Olajuwon, I got you. This is my fight, not yours, woman to woman. So I think it's a little bit of both, but I want to know, is it more of her trying to be like, I'm a ride or die? or more of we just don't vibe? Gwen says it's we just don't vibe. CS says we just don't vibe. Deneen says she thinks that it's more of her wanting to be a ride or die. T, she says she is a pick me, but Katina just ain't featuring Lindsay. She a ride or die for Alyssa too. Yeah, okay. So majority of y'all are saying that it's number 2. Some of y'all are saying ride or die as well. Yeah, it's really no telling. So y'all, things definitely. Oh, Summer, I want to talk about this. So Summer says, I don't get pick me. I genuinely feel like she likes Olajuwon. Now, both is true, in my opinion. I think that Katina really does like Olajuwon, but I think she also really wants to be seen as a good wife, which is not a bad thing. But some of the things that Olajuwon is requesting, like all these different meals, and the way that he tries to like mentor her, or the way that he tries to coach her brain, to me, is some things that almost like cross the limit, where I feel like you should be able to, I don't know. She spoke out against it when it came to the horse riding thing. So let me wait. Let me hold. She spoke out against it when it came to the horse riding thing. So there's some accountability right there. The only thing that is beyond me is the cooking. But maybe that's something she really wants to do. I don't know. I think the roads are split over her being a pick me. And I don't think that just because she likes him, that makes you a pick me. You don't become a pick me just because you like somebody. I feel like, here's a better way to explain it. I feel like a pick me will adjust their standards of what's acceptable in order to be seen in a better light. Katina never cooked before, nothing like that. But you want to be seen in a better light. So you're doing all this additional stuff for him. Y'all go to the gym, you typically don't work out. This man is coaching you like you're a damn football player. You don't really want to say nothing. Like, that's, Olajuwon is hella annoying. And I'm not understanding why you wouldn't just have a turn it off button, okay? Fit the mold. She wants to make him happy. And that's what makes her a pick me, okay? It's no like black or white to it. And I'm trying to make it very clear to y'all that I'm not saying that she's a pick me because she likes him. It's more to that. It's a molding process. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So anyway, y'all, things take a turn when it comes to Mark and Lindsay when they get into an argument in front of everybody at the bowling alley over whether or not she should have been arguing with Katina. But let's be real, y'all. Mark is definitely pulling a Noi. He's being passive. You know you're not beefing with her over her beefing with other people. You just feel more comfortable jumping in on conflict that's already been started. You felt comfortable telling Lindsay about herself whenever she got into it with Olajuwon. You felt comfortable telling Lindsay about herself whenever she got into it with Alyssa. Now you feel comfortable trying to address Lindsay that she's attempted to get into an argument with Katina. Why is it that between all those moments in time, you knew that Lindsay was just too much and you had your personal issue with her, but you find it easier to jump on other people's agendas and tell her what to do when it comes to that? Tell her how you really feel. So Lindsay says to him, go ahead and call your mama. Call your mom. And he says, well, you need to get another drink. So I was like, ooh. But y'all, that's pretty much it. Seashells. This the comment. This the comment. This is the comment. And this is what I'm trying to say. This is the comment. I hope y'all go back to the beginning of this review if you're new, because I really tried to think, like, why is it that you're sleeping in a 30-inch wig? This man know it's not your hair. It was given pick me. Okay. And her in Puerto Rico, whenever they first got there was giving pick me. I do think it's both, okay? I think she don't like Lindsay. I think a lot of people couldn't take Lindsay. But I think she felt a sense of, this my man, girl, don't mess with my man type stuff. And he in the background like, yes, this is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I think it's a combination of things. Yes, she can like him. Yes, she can want to please him. But one thing that somebody told me, best piece of advice that I have heard, or most basic piece of advice, don't do anything that you're not going to continue to do. So whenever people first get into marriages, you want to cook 5 days a week, you want to be a Stepford wife, you want to do this, you want to do that. But if that's not true to who you are at the end of the day, which is someone who ate out every day, partied, you're not going to continue to do that. And to me, I feel like that's what makes you a pick-me, because you're doing things that you don't typically do that you probably cannot sustain. And rather those things being a suggestion from Olajuwon, he's letting you know that it's a requirement and you're okay with it. That's the comment. Thank you, Seashells. He's letting you know that it's a requirement. It would be different if he said, I would like for my wife to do this, that, and the third. He's letting you know what he requires, and you're jumping over hoops to do it, knowing that you won't sustain it. So that's what's making her a pick-me. Okay. So I really don't have nothing else to give y'all for Married at First Sight. I'm glad that y'all came on to talk to me, even though this review is a week late. But good thing, y'all. We're going to be talking about this in 2 days, okay? And then Ladies First Panel will be on my channel this Thursday, so I will see y'all then. If y'all also want to know what I was up to when I was gone, go ahead and head over to my Instagram at Necey Dixon. Check my reel because we was acting a fool in Houston, okay? With that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.